For me, university means, first of all, an open space. So I think it's very important that the distance between the students and the professors is not that big. For example, what I experienced in the high school. So of course, they are our leaders, kind of, and we are listening for them. But what I really like much when we have not so informal meetings, for example, in a restaurant, and the whole class is there and the professors are there, and they can show us that they are available for us, and in every time you have a question or you stuck with something, you can write them. And because after the high school, university is really a big place, and there are hundreds of students, and I think it's very easy to feel yourself lost a little bit, because it's a new system. It's you have to concentrate double time as was it in high school during a class, and it can help a lot. For example, when the professors are not just holding the lectures and then they gone, and we can see them just during the lectures, and no real questions or no real conversations could appear. So the interaction and the active participation is very important for me. I don't know how it looks like, for example, in Germany, but in Hungary, there are also PhD students. So if you are a PhD student, you have to holding classes also next of your PhD project and PhD work. And because of that, those people mainly who are teaching and holding lectures at the university are not so they don't have to do a teacher education or a being a. So sometimes this problem is appear because of course we are not children anymore, but that the classes and the whole methodology and the whole education from them was not too good, because it was clear that they are not teachers, they are professors, they are researchers. And to have your attention, to have a young people attention and hold the attention and also being interesting, it's a problem. So I don't know how could it be better, but maybe I can imagine that being a PhD student or being a professor, there is also a training course, for example, a short 1 week or 2 week, that how can you hold a lecture for 100 of people, not to be so boring or so dry or rushing or just reading your PPT slides. Because if a topic or if a class is very interesting and very good and very new, for example about global warming or migration, a lecture could be really hard when the teacher seems like not to really interest. I can imagine that it works differently in other countries, and it's very interesting also this new online thing which is came in our life with the coronavirus. And I think so some parts of the online teaching is useful, for example the recording. So if you can listen anytime the lecture if you are lost or you didn't understand something, and that's, for example, very useful. But in my opinion, to being there face to face is it's better. So, for example, to keep your attentions awake, it's hard to seeing a screen, or being participated in a class on a screen for hours, long hours. And it's also, I think, for the teachers is not the best, because they cannot see our reactions, our faces, because of the internet connection. Because if everyone turn on the camera, just the VLAN, the internet connection just gone. So we are only letters on the screen, and yes, it's hard. It would be nice, I think, that some ingredients or some parts of the online teaching keep the system. For example, this recording, it's a good thing, or it's also easy to have online a meeting with your teacher, for example, if you have just a short question. But altogether, I think it's way more better to being there. But I can imagine it's also subjective, so it's my opinion, it's my feeling. Yeah, I also like the way when I am participating a lecture or a practice at school, at the university, and I can show my so the respect of the teacher, that I'm glad that she or he is there, they hold, and it's very enjoyable, and everyone is interesting in it. So it's so nice. It's so nice. It feels nice and feels right. Also, it also feels like a little bit for me, yeah, being part of an institute. It's a high level of education. So always sitting front of your camera, front of your computer, it sometimes feels like for me on an online course. Sometimes it's good to feel that I'm belonging to this big building and the people, and I know the secretary also.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people, and I can sit in the library, and I already know the library woman, who's very nice, and reading their, I don't know, PPTs, and that's way more boring. I think that it's like a YouTube video that you can open it, and it's, I don't know, it's for me a little difficulty to get serious enough these kind of lectures and pay attention. And of course, if we have this online film video lecture, it's also impossible to ask, to raise a question in time. So yes, I can write a letter for a teacher, and probably he or she will answer it, but it feels strange for me. In Budapest and in Hungary, as far as I know, now the university call it hybrid, so the hybrid system, that they admitted that, okay, the practical classes were a kind of disaster in the last semester, and it was very hard to on a computer opening the Microsoft Teams video and then using, for example, a program, a computer program. And yeah, a lot of students said that my computer is not able to do that, it's too slow, or I don't have two computers. Semester works like this way, that those teachers who are not afraid, or they are afraid but they are not, so they decided that it's more important to them to being there face to face, offline with a mask, holding the lectures, than the corona situation. And so, for example, I have a lecture also, not just a practical task in this semester, face to face, and almost all of the practices with computer lab classes are offline, also, of course, in a university, in mask. And if we are entering the school, they check it, that if we have a fever or not. And those who have a little bit higher numbers, they have to go home. yes, and the lectures, so the theoretical classes are all online. But I can see also about the teachers that sometimes they just ask them to, please can you just turn on your camera for a sec, because it's so weird to speaking for than 2 hours, and it's strange for them, I think, as well. I am a sociology student, a master student, so actually we are not so many of us at the institute. Face-to-face and really active meetings are really needed and not so hard to organize it. Actually, our institute leader, professor, is very active, and he's always writing us letters to let's meet somehow outside, or just wearing our mask and a little bit speak, please, everyone. I want to know about everyone that practice, and yes, just please, please, I need some signs that you are okay. You can participate the classes. You are not lost. I think I'm lucky from this perspective. Yeah, I can admit that most of my professors are very active, and they are reacting, or yeah, some professors are on Facebook too, and they always saying that we can contact them via Facebook as well, because they can see it fast. How can we only write about social inequalities or poverty only the way that only we reading much about it, academical papers? So it would be for me very nice that if you are choosing a topic, there would be a possibility to go on a field work, that okay, then you can go for 2 weeks this little country, little village, for example, and do interviews the people, how the lives really looks like. I'm studying sociology, but I can imagine that it's kind of more practical or more field-oriented work. So I can imagine, for example, a communication university, media. But of course we have this traineeship, but it's always just one place. So you go a place and then you spend your traineeship there, or you have one semester this field work. But for me it would be nice to seeing a more complex picture and a more complex work situation, not that through this academic language. And other very good and important thing for me is that what I experiencing now, that our professors always ask us, so please say it if the syllabus or the whole structure of the education and the classes is building on the wrong way, or you feeling like that this makes no sense, that please don't afraid to say it to us, because we are working continuously to give you our best and the best education that we can give and we can build together. If we are successful and we have a very hard and sustainable or competitive knowledge, that's also it's also a picture of what they have, or what they could build up, like a marks for the professors.